Peace family, so I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how they notice that you vibrate on a different frequency. It is very obvious that your frequency is not the same as theirs. Even when you fine tune yours to their same frequency, they'll understand and they know that you are still tapped into something different. Meaning they may be listening to country music on one station, but soon as your frequency touches, now it then turned over to hip hop or some jazz or soul or something like that. You ever been driving on the interstate and, like, I guess the new age wouldn't understand, but us older generation, we kind of got the concept of when you riding from city to city or state to state, county to county, the radio stations change. And you can hear when the frequencies start becoming entangled with each other. So let's say 1019 was your hip-hop station that you like to listen to, and you in this city right here. Now you're driving an hour away to another city. And if you're still on the same station, most people that used to listen to the radio, we would ride the same station until it became too staticky and too congested with the other music that we had to figure out what was the poppin' station and the clear station in this city or town. It's the same thing when it comes to our vibrations. If you process even when you was younger or just operating in like those darker energies, which we didn't really take them as dark energies, we just took them as, damn, this seems a little off, this seems a little awkward, this seems a little uncomfortable. You know, we didn't really put the concept of the darker side with it. Even though you can use the dark for, you know, much better things. I'm using it as an example as, you know, we got to have a good, bad, a righteous, wrong. You know, you have to have that dynamics. Negative, positive, that's just the way it's set up out here. But even when you was younger, and I know for me when I was younger, I could be around a bunch of people who are like operating on a frequency that is more standardized to the Western society, meaning we was all fitting our stereotypical culture types, meaning white people was doing stereotypical white people things, brown people was doing stereotypical brown people things, you know, and we all kind of looked there like, oh, that's not me, that's not us. But when you look back at your life, we was all doing the stereotypical thing we was doing in our culture. Now, whether you was doing it from, you know, I'm just gonna go to school and just want to get good grades, or whether you was doing it from, you know what, I need to get this bag, I'm about to skip a couple classes so I could jug a little bit and get some chicken and cheese. We still using that same concept. So for me, I understood, and it helped me view things from a way much higher perspective when I went to prison and I had to do the 3 years there. And it made me realize, like, I know I've been a warrior and had that fighter mentality and spirit. But I also, we got a plane coming. I know y'all hear it on the way. So we're gonna let this pass first. Y'all can see I dipped off in the woods today to still try to get away. Like, this not even a trail. I created a space, like, to try to get away, and they still make their rounds. But like I was saying, when you are vibing on these frequencies, when I was in the system, I could tell that I wasn't afraid of no man. But I also could understand that I didn't get my same power and energy from being prideful or like the bullyish, demonic, extorting, belittling kind of energy. You know what I mean? So, like, what I'm explaining is, it's gonna all go together. You have the demonic spirit, which is dark, hard. It comes off very prideful, kind of like a warrior, but it's not. They do a bunch of sneaky things behind the scene. But then you got the righteous warriors out here who do not do the same things that they do, but they are willing to war with these beings and any other beings that go outside of certain principles, morals, and values. So, understanding these things, right? I knew that something was always different about me, because I could get into situations with my peers, but certain things I would kind of have to let them do their thing, or it would have to escalate to a certain degree in order for me to get involved. And this is just speaking from like a male physical fighting standpoint. But when you take it and you flip it, right, because that's still frequencies. I'm vibing on their frequencies, but I got a different music station. I'm literally coming from another state and city, and I'm coming into their space. So now my tune and frequency is kind of tweaking with their frequencies that they got going on. But what brought me to this subject, right, is when you think about your past and your upbringing and then just like your walk of life, 10 times out of 10, you've always been a light being. You always been light spirited. You always kind of carried it the same way. You just kind of grew and elevated with it. Yeah, one more plane coming through. So you already kind of knew these things for yourself. Now the deception comes in that is processing and thinking that these other beings around us don't know. You thinking that your mom doesn't know or see it. You thinking that your dad doesn't know and doesn't see it. You thinking that your siblings don't know and don't see it. You thinking that your peers and the schools and all these people and places don't know and don't see. They can tell that you are on a different frequency. Now, whether they treat you as such, it's completely on those beings. You know what I mean? But they do have the foresight, because you cannot hide but so much of the light. So even if you turn, like, if you look at hiding light in a physical concept, right? Say you want to hide your light bulb, but you got the light on. You have to put a numerous amount of blankets or shields over that lamp or light to actually hide it. So knowing that we're not a physical light bulb, our energy is working itself in the spiritual realm, the invisible realm, then we should already understand that it don't matter what kind of blankets they try to put on it. Our spiritual world is more powerful than the physical world. So that light is always going to find its way to shine through that space. You know what I mean? And a lot of beings have to operate against you in these manners, because you and us being us, we are those actual images of the kind of characters and beings that they would like to be. No, this physical realm may not give a great representation of how solid and how valuable your spirit is, because we're in the middle of a prison. When I was in prison, all of us looked at each other as like inmates. We saw each other as people, but you know, the bigger picture, we're on the same space. Nobody was trying to put anybody higher than the other one, unless you just like in a weird space and that's just what you do. You know, it's always going to be a catch-22 to it. But as far as like them understanding these things, we have such a way of communicating with this realm, and that's just like a simplified way of putting it. Like, because I could say we communicate with the people, we communicate with these locations, we communicate with the trees, with all these physical things, but you know, just saying communicate with this realm, because you're communicating even when you aren't using your words. Say you just going for a walk in your neighborhood, you're communicating with everything that you're passing by. Everything is vibrating. I had about 2-3 people come up to me this week alone, you know what I mean, and just kind of, hey, you look like a really good spirited person, you know what I'm saying, or you look like you got a lot of good energy with you. You know, it's just, I was just being me. I didn't do anything extra. I wasn't walking around with a big ass smile on my face. But the way my thought process works on the inside, no, they can't read my thoughts, but it's creating a vibration. So we've been doing this since we were young, little, all the way to when we got older. And this is why we had such a hard time just kind of engaging with regular, everyday people, because they're looking more in depth into us than what we were looking into ourselves at that time. Now we're at a space to where we diving pretty deep within our own inner space and learning different things about ourselves, because we had to engage with this world and be around other people to understand what's actually going on with us, because we wasn't taught younger. We had to go through trial and error. Either way, you gotta go through trial and error, but it's a difference between going through trial and error. It's a difference between my daughter going through trial and error without daddy there, and then having me right there while she go through her trial and error. It's a big difference. She got support, she got guidance, you know what I'm saying? She got a lot of love on this. She got all the kind of accolades and things that come with having somebody right there with you. You know what I mean? A lot of people like that weird saying, I could do bad all by myself. But why not say you could do all good by yourself? It's always everything with a negative condensation first. But the people who use that, we know, are either witchy or they're just regurgitating some information. Another one. So just understanding these things, like a lot of these beings know what time it is with you and your frequency. They know how you vibe. A lot of them don't hold themselves with that kind of value or substance. So it kind of makes them become angry at themselves, but they project it as if they're angry or frustrated with you or annoyed with you, when really it's at themselves, because they haven't been able to think this highly of themselves. They haven't been able to think this confidently within themselves. It's a lot of things that's happening with these other beings that use that demonic playbook that's around us, that will let you know that they understand where you're vibrating at. They just cannot get there, and they do not want to go there. They cannot get there, and they do not want to go there. You know what I mean? So we at a day and age now to where you just have to assume they fucking know. You have to assume they know. It's too much. If you got one of these guys right here, you have $1,000 tangible item that you can get so much information from. You know what I mean? So anybody that has a phone and they're not using it, you should already know what type of time they are. Anybody who has a social medias, if you don't have a business, is a dating app. Social medias, if you don't have a business, is a dating app. Especially for females, because their inbox is easy to access them. So I could see somebody on the street right now, get her name but not get her number, but then I could find her social medias if I wanted to, and I could still get in her inbox. Social medias are new dating apps and sites. So if you got anybody that's just lingering around on these social medias, you just have to understand that they want other men to access them, or they want other females to access them if they're not working on anything. You shouldn't be having one just to have one. All of this goes hand in hand with just understanding that we do things on these frequencies, but we have a different tune. I'm bringing, I'm in Charlottesville right now. So I'm coming from Charlottesville to New York. I'm bringing my station and my vibration from there. When I came from New York to Charlottesville, I brought my vibration with me. You know what I mean? My frequency, I didn't fine tune it all the way down to their frequency that they on, to the point to where that I don't even know what's going on with my home stations. I'm not even near the airport right now, y'all. I'm not even near the airport. That's like 4 since we just started in 14 minutes. So, but before they send the rest of these airplanes through, we're gonna wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? But just be aware, like, they know the frequencies you're on. You know what I'm saying? They understand the value that you hold within yourself. You don't have to force it on other people, because they're already beating themselves up because they don't hold themselves with that same accountability or put that same value and substance on themselves. You know what I mean? But tap in everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.